name is Edna Nojima. How are you all doing? In today's lesson, we will talk about the citizen responsibility certification. What is the citizen responsibility certification? It's a seal of approval for the responsibility actions carried out in communities, culminating in the implementation of projects and encouraging citizen participation and actions for change in society. What are the goals of this certification? First, to raise awareness among participants about the theme of citizenship and at the same time encourage volunteer actions in the community, in the neighborhood, and in the city. Another goal is to contribute to sustainable development, to grant competitive advantages to the company that opts for certification, to encourage the formation of new volunteers in the company, in schools, in NGOs, and in participating OSCIPs, and to identify the companies and organizations that are committed to ethics, social responsibility, and the environment. Also, to create a market differentiator for the companies and organizations participating in this program. Of the companies that join the program, subjecting them to the current regulations with the granting of a respective seal that visually identifies the certified program, whose use will be exclusive to its participants. So only the participating and approved companies will receive the seal. Being a program focused on citizen education, the certification represents a way of organizing a business, putting things in their proper places in a systematic manner, meaning it covers all processes of the organization. At the same time, it helps companies understand what's happening internally and guides them in handling the processes and actions that need to be carried out to prevent nonconformities so that failures don't happen again. The goal is to address the causes of these nonconformities. At the same time, it helps organizations develop a greater appreciation for their customers, aids in leadership development, and contributes to getting people involved in the processes. It also strengthens employee engagement and issues related to the management of the company, which is very important. It fosters greater commitment to sustainability within the team, guiding the attitudes of each employee. ISO 26000 aims to guide organizations from any part or location to incorporate and internalize socio-environmental guidelines into their decision-making processes and to take responsibility for the impacts of all their actions on society and the environment in which they operate. At the same time, it establishes the minimum requirements for a social responsibility management system, allowing the organization to formulate and implement a policy and objectives that take into account all legal requirements and others, their ethical commitments, and their concern for promoting citizenship in the environment they are part of. Within the program, we also work with another standard focused on social responsibility, which is ISO 16000. ISO 16000 aims to provide organizations with the elements of an effective social responsibility management system, which can be integrated with other management requirements to help them achieve all their objectives related to social responsibility. Just a side note. The main difference between ISO 16000 and ISO 26000 is that ISO 16000 certifies an organization, while ISO 26000 does not focus on certification. So, if the company intends to seek certification, the ISO it should focus on is $16,000 or both standards only work on the requirements to organize all activities related to social responsibility. ISO 16000 applies to any type of organization that wants to implement, maintain, and improve a social responsibility management system. So regardless of the organization or its size, this standard applies. The requirements of this standard are generic, so they can be applied to all companies, so there's no specific focus. And its application will depend on factors such as the company's social responsibility policy, the organization, the nature of its activities, and the products and services offered, the location, and the conditions in which the company operates. Here, we have a difference, some differences, between ISO 16000 and 26000. So both standards have social responsibility as their central theme, but their focuses are different. As I mentioned, ISO 16000 certifies social responsibility system, and the management of the system mainly aims for this certification. On the other hand, ISO 26000 focuses on education. It works on educational guidelines to guide employees, the internal team, and at the same time society and the involved stakeholders. And the central themes are focused on the organization's understanding the issues. They are complementary standards. They are not exclusive. So the company can work with both, and when it comes time to decide on a certification, it should focus more on 16000, considering that there will be requirements that must be met, since the certifying body will focus on this standard to check if the system has been properly implemented in the company. One of the main benefits of these standards is the continuous improvement of the company's social and environmental performance. It encourages the market for sustainability. The guidelines provide access to performance information. It communicates with all stakeholders involved, improves the relationship with suppliers, standardizes the company's code of conduct and code of ethics, and promotes awareness of all the standards involved in this process. Here, we're going to talk a bit about another standard that we use in our program, which is MAIL. Also has an educational focus. It's not aimed at certification. So what does it work on? It is a tool for transparency and corporate governance that aims to ensure the quality of the information presented in validation reports intended for all stakeholders. In other words, companies that work with 16000, 26000, and 14000 need to present reports to the stakeholders. So, MAIL addresses the issue of transparency by providing guidelines on how these reports should be prepared and how they should be presented. So, relates to these three standards, 14000, 16000, and 26000. It's also not certified 3000, and with 26000, it's simply to guide the preparation of the report. It applies to companies that meet requirements related to ethics, morals, and the environment. And it is directly related to other certifications focused on sustainability, social responsibility, and the environment. Now let's talk a bit about the principles of the MAIL standard. Based on its principles, this standard helps organizations of all sizes and sectors engage all interested parties in their activities. The principles are fundamental in AMIL, and I'm going to talk a bit about each one of them now. So the first principle is the principle of inclusion. This principle is about the participation of stakeholders in developing a responsible and strategic response to sustainability. Inclusion allows them to participate in identifying problems and contribute to solutions. It also involves cooperation at all levels to achieve more effective results for the organization. A second principle is the principle of relevance. It determines the importance of an issue for the company and its stakeholders. So what's the relevant issue to present to each stakeholder? Directly related to the organization, helping to identify the sole topics for the sustainable performance of that organization. A third principle is responsiveness. Responsiveness is how an organization will react to issues that affect its sustainability performance. And responsiveness is observed through the decisions made and the performance, meaning as well as through proper communication with all stakeholders. It can include establishment of policies, objectives, and goals. Here we're also talking about structuring indicators, a dashboard of indicators, and metrics that will be presented to the stakeholders. In addition to structuring a governance model, management process systems for action plans, and involving stakeholders, there's also the measurement and monitoring of performance or assurance in this process. An organization's responses may or may not align with the viewpoints of all stakeholders. They participate in developing those responses. The three principles are directly interconnected, and together they serve as the foundation for the accountability that the company must provide to its stakeholders. And this accountability format will depend on who the stakeholders of your organization are. So depending on the stakeholders involved, company will have to determine how this report should be presented. To wrap up, we're going to talk about the requirements for the Citizen Responsibility Program. So, the first question here is that companies will have to follow all the requirements and standards of the program. And here, considering requirements of 14,000, 16,000, and 26,000, 16,000 and 26,000. After meeting all the requirements of the standards, company must develop a project that has a socio-environmental focus. Once the project is finished, the company must implement this project in society, targeting its specific audience. So, here, at the moment of developing the project, the company and the team involved will have to define who the target audience of this project is. And once that's done, it should be implemented. After the project is implemented and the results are presented, the company will receive the Citizen Responsibility seal. So, this project will be evaluated, and after the results of that evaluation, the seal will be granted. To support this, we will provide content. So all the standards will be available on our portal. So you can access, download the standards, download the booklet, or the content. We will also provide some supporting materials related to the topic. And you can download everything for reference during the project development stage. In addition to the content and materials, we will also be available. So if you have any questions, you can contact us by phone or by sending an email, and we will answer all the questions related to the project. So thank you very much. I look forward to seeing you in class. And until the next class.
Hey there, everyone. Did you enjoy class? In the next Class, we will enter Module 2, which is political awareness. And the topic will be about the structure of the municipality. See you later.